So without putting you on the spot or making you appear to be too immodest, it would be fair for me to characterize you as a winemaker and Stonington Vineyards as being cutting edge, because you in fact were the third, or Stonington Vineyards was the third winery established in the state of Connecticut. So your choice, you and the original owner, the choices you made to go with French grape varietals is cutting edge.
Yeah, it was a keen decision that was made, and not just by us, but a couple of other growers that just decided to. I mean, there's growers in upstate Connecticut and further up in New England that are doing nothing but hybrids because that's all they can grow.
Would it be fair to say that you and Stonington Vineyards are a trendsetter for those wineries that have followed since?
We'd like to think so, yeah. Yeah, I think that people are,
Now, I'm a firm believer in following your passion, and I found in getting to know you personally, your story is very fascinating because not only are you an accomplished winemaker, learning from the ground up, which we don't find a lot today. Many new winemakers come out of UC Davis and or the college in Bordeaux,
right.
etc. So to find someone who's really learned from the field to the winery to the retail aspect is very unusual. But I understand that you're also a yoga instructor. Do you find, and you find a lot today, especially our viewers think of winemaking as being magical or a type of alchemy. But when you make wine, do you find that you're putting your heart or soul or passion into it? I mean, in other words, you obviously are a man who has a mind-body connection with yoga mm-hmm. and with your other passions. Do you find that you are passionate about wine? I mean, it's not just a job for you, correct?
Yeah, it's more of a lifestyle. It really is kind of a lifestyle here. I mean,
it's a great description.
There's a season to everything that we do, and I don't think of it as a job. I think of it as going to do what I need to do. It's like cooking. Everybody needs their meals for the day. Winemaking is a lot like cooking. It's part of life, but if you don't do the things that you need to do when you need to do them, everything goes wrong.
Now, can I ask you a question, and hopefully your proprietors, Happy Smith, isn't, and the owners aren't listening right now, but would you do this for no pay at all?
If I could.
If I could. Let me ask you one last question, because I found this absolutely fascinating, and I found this out before I came here. And now, having tasted your wines and discovering for myself that they definitely resemble old world winemaking, and specifically from what I could tell, what I've tasted when I was in Bordeaux, France, and when I was in Burgundy, France, your wines, and especially from the East Coast, were safe to say, in my experience, being in the wine industry for 25 years, you find that a lot of the wines that are typical of the East Coast or the Midwest tend to be sweeter in palate. Mm-hmm. But when I discovered and tasted your wines, they were gorgeous. They were elegant. They don't blast you with heavy tannins. There's elegant tannin. They're not sugar bombs. But when I say fruit forward, it's not sugary, but you get the actual fruit, and the mouthfeel is so light in body and style, much like you would find in Burgundy. And what really amazes me about it, and the finish on the wines is incredible. And then when I found out that, as you told me, that you're in recovery, have been in recovery for how many years?
20 years.
20 years. So you assess these wines. You don't taste the wines, but you do this.
I don't taste the wines. I smell the wines. I will taste and spit the wines, visually inspect them. But I don't drink wine anymore or any other alcohol.
Now that is truly magical, to have an accomplished winemaker do all of this based on what would be sense or intuition, if you will. Call it passion.
You need all your senses to make wine. So
that's, I've never heard that, but you know what?
And when I was drinking, I only had some of my senses.
We know you're busy, and I just want to say thank you very much for being on the Wine Zealot on tour.
No worries.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mike McAndrew, winemaker for Stonington Vineyards.